Warning: the content you are about to see is my opinion on certain topics. I do not want to offend anyone in any way. If you feel offended or do not like what I say, you should turn off the video. I will have no filter, so I'm warning you now. Viewer discretion is advised. I hope you enjoy. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Open Your Mind Podcast. This is the podcast where I talk about different topics from my point of view. You may not agree with what I got to say, but I just want you to listen with an open mind. And that way, when you judge me, you have all the facts. Today, I will be talking about relationships. As a 28-year-old man, you would think I would have more experience relationships, but the fact of the matter is I don't. All I can tell you is what I have been dealing with and what I have done in the past, and so I know what doesn't work and some things that does work. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin, my beginning experience with relationships. I was a weird kid in high school. I had friends, girls like me. I like girls and stuff like that, but I've never really interacted with females in like a relationship type situation. So I didn't know how to act around females. I didn't know. I was always goofy. I didn't know really how to talk to females, and I didn't really understand females. So I would just see from what my friends would do and from relationships I see on TV or relationships I see in person, I would try to do what they do. But I learned at a young age that not everything that works for someone is going to work for you. So it was a lot of trial and error for me. So there was a lot of fails early on in my life. And that's just from me not having experience with females as far as like dating and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that I was sheltered or kept in the house, but I didn't really do a lot. So I didn't experience a lot. And so a lot of my friends had a lot more experience with life than I did as far as relationships, parties, and not saying that I do, drink or do drugs, stuff like that, but they had a lot of early exposure to that I didn't have. And so through high school, when there's parties or even in like the beginning stage of college, I didn't really know how to do any of that. And so I had to learn. By the time I was 19, I had lost my virginity at 19. And then once I'd done that, I feel like everything kind of switched. Something in my head kind of went on, and I kind of better understood like a female and a relationship process, because I finally had the interaction that a lot of my friends have done, early on in their life, like, middle school to freshman year, they lost their virginity. So by the time I hit 19, I kind of finally understand a woman. And then at that time, I wasn't really trying to be in a relationship. I was really just trying to get more of a female. I was in the friends with benefit stage, because I have never had that. And so once I first had that, that's all I wanted from 19 to about 22, 23. And then when I really started understanding, because as you get older, your mind changes, you start to grow, and you start understanding a lot more in life. So I started understanding. So I started wanting to get relationships then. I had a couple girlfriends through my life, not a lot, not as many as a person my age should have or would have. So I still really don't understand relationship type, because all my relationships have been, less than a couple months and stuff like that. But I've always had this single mentality to where I was never really looking for a relationship because at one point I could never get them, so I was never really looking for that. I was looking for the quick friends with benefit thing because that's the only thing that seemed to work for me at the time, until I got older. So now I've grown as a person. I'm 28. I'm into the point to where I want to start settling down. So, there's a few girls I like, here and there. There's probably only one or two that I can say that I would pursue that would probably pursue me as well. So, but at this time, yes, I'm open to the idea of relationships. That whole thing of friends with benefits is so juvenile, so college age, and I'm not in college anymore. I'm a grown man. I'm just getting to a point where I need to start settling down and having a family and stuff like that. But my review on relationships is I like them now. Relationship is between one man and one woman. That's how I wanted. That's how it was going to be. I do want to tell y'all a story about a time where I messed up with this one girl. I was young. I think I was about 21, 22 at the time. I was dating a girl. She was about 30. She had two kids. I don't know if you call it dating, but we were talking and stuff like that. But everything was going good. I was just being myself and stuff like that. And I took the liberty of thinking that, okay, I'm a wow her. I'm gonna do something that's going to put it over the edge. So at the time I started writing poetry. And so what I did was I wrote this long poem and I posted it onto her Facebook wall so everybody can see. I did it right before I went to bed. And I didn't think nothing too much of it. I woke up. She had a lot of messages. A lot of people was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Because they didn't know, we were talking. She messaged me, was like, "Yo, what are you doing? You shouldn't have done that. I'm embarrassed and all this." And I'm like, like I said, at the time, I didn't understand. I was like, "What do you mean?" It was just, I wrote you a poem and stuff like that. She's like, "Yeah, but I didn't like, And so at that time, she stopped talking to me. I don't think and we worked together, which is crazy because she didn't talk to me. And then at the time, I think like a month later, she ended up getting fired. And then I've never talked to her again. And she was, the close thing to like a relationship that I had. And it made me feel a certain type of way. So at the time, I didn't really understand what I did wrong. I guess, certain girls like certain things. So as I got older, I realized that not everything works for certain girls, because I've written a couple girls poems and they liked it. And so it goes about doing things the right way. And at the time, I don't think I did that the right way. So now I just learned to be myself. At a point when I was younger, I think I tried too hard. I came on a little strong is what I have been told. And that's the only, wasn't trying to, it just, I'm a bigger guy, so I feel like I had to try harder to get a lot of girls, because a lot of other people, the way they look, which looks is not everything, which I'm learning now. But at a time where I thought you had to, looks got you further with women, because at time women are very shallow, and I think women are still shallow to this day. Not all women, but most women are. So if you don't look a certain way, they're not going to instantly fall to you. And so I had to really do a lot of trial and error. I had to see what works and what didn't work. So sometimes I came on strong. Sometimes I didn't come on strong enough to where I could have had a girl, but I didn't talk enough, or I was too shy or something like that. So now I've kind of learned to be myself. I kind of, I'm the jokester type. I tell you up front, like, what it is. I'm an open book. So relationships have always been a up and down situation with me, which is I don't understand why. I understand why now, but at the time I didn't. I grew up a little different. Not grew up because of my parents. It's just I didn't interact like I should have, and I didn't have a lot of exposure to a lot of things. So I would say always be yourself when it comes to relationships. Always be yourself, because that's what females like. That's what ladies like. They like for you to be yourself. They don't want you to pretend to be something that you're not. In which I never was pretending to be anything. It just I didn't know how to be me. I tried to be what I thought I was, which I wasn't at the time. So it's it's very interesting. Relationships have been my Achilles heel, as they say, because it's always been one area that I've struggled with, through my lifetime. So, you know, I wish I'd had somebody else on this show to kind of, especially female, to kind of can tell their side of the story. But this is just from my side of the story. I've made bad decisions when it comes to females. Like I said, come on too strong. So I would say, as far as don'ts, when you try to pursue a girl in a relationship, don't come on strong. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Just be yourself. Get to know that person first. Don't try to be with them right out the gate. Kind of be friends, kind of get to know them, see what they like and don't like, because then that's when, you can kind of see what, that you can kind of plan your next step. So, as far as this episode, this is something quick I want to do about relationships, because I am not the best at it, and I am still learning myself as a 28-year-old man. So, if you have any advice for me, or if listening to this is how you act when it comes to relationship, don't act like this, because my ways have failed me. So once again, this is Big Rob, aka Rob the Poet. This episode is about relationship. Have an open mind when you listen to this, because like I said, I don't want you to judge me. If you are going to judge me, just make sure you know exactly what I'm talking about before you judge me. So, Big Rob, aka Rob the Poet, and I'm out for this episode. Peace.